Hey World Lit students, just a quick video announcement to kind of run through your reading guide for the week as you're reading Nectar in a Sieve. As you know, you've got chapters 1 through 12 due by Monday, and I'm going to give you the weekend to work on that reading. If you haven't really been someone who maybe reads for fun, or most of the reading that you do is for school, you're going to kind of feel that brain stretch of sitting and reading and really thinking through a text. That's normal. Okay, so don't give up on it, really kind of anchor down and get some good work done. But what you can see on my screen is your assignment for what's due this week. And it's basically going to guide you through kind of some of the bigger ideas of chapters 1 through 12. So what I'd recommend that you do before you start reading is read through this worksheet and really read through all the questions so that you know when you're reading, you see a question that comes up, you can actually write it down rather than finishing the reading, going back, looking for the right answer. Kind of use this as a companion. Couple of things I want to talk about first, though. And students who came to the reading circle, thank you so much. We had a wonderful discussion and some wonderful reading time, and we also went through this worksheet together, so they really got an advantage on getting going. So we will have another reading circle next Thursday, same time, same place, from 12 to 1. We'll spend a half hour kind of reading together, and you'll have a half hour to kind of read independently or read in small groups, depending on what the group wants to do. So looking back at your worksheet, I want to kind of talk through when you're looking at a worksheet, what kind of thinking is being asked of you. So if I'm looking at question number 1, it says provide examples of words that were unknown to you and which you discovered the meaning of using context clues. So right away I'm looking at, okay, I need examples. I've got to bring in the actual word, and I've got to bring in evidence of how I figured that out. So you might write down your example word here in quotes and then include what about the context, so actually the sentence it was in, that gave away its meaning without having to look it up. That's the whole idea of context clues, and it's a really good muscle to kind of flex if you haven't flexed that in a while. Or maybe it's second nature for you. Take some good thinking time to come back to it. So when I'm looking at question 2 and I'm thinking of strategies and kind of cluing in my own thinking, I noticed that right away I've got to know what foreshadowing is and what a flashback is. So if you haven't reviewed those few terms in a while, foreshadowing is kind of that feeling of something is coming, or we're getting a hint of what's coming up. And a flashback is actually what's going on in the whole novel. We know from the very beginning Ruku is an older woman flashing back on her life and the things that have helped shape her. So we kind of have this kind of middle ground happening of the narration where you will be taken in the moment of what had happened, but then we also get hints of, big changes coming, big ominous changes coming. So how is the author and how is the narrator doing this? And then make some meaning from it, right? So if you're explaining why the author used the device, that's asking you to make some meaning. So what meaning can be made from that device? For example, you're going to see, Ruku mention the big change of the tannery coming. And she foreshadows this huge change and uses some kind of negative connotation tone to let us know that the meaning of this is not going to be a good thing. So what meaning can be made from the foreshadowing, the flashbacks? A little bit higher level thinking there. Looking at your actual reading questions, you're going to kind of be taken between two things. You'll be looking at, okay, what is actually a factual observation I can make from the text, and then when do I need to actually make an inference based on what the text made? So what it's actually saying is maybe that she got married. The meaning I can make from that, or the inference I can make from that, is the impact of her life or how it influenced her, how it's going to change her worldview, all those good things that help us think through them. So when you're looking at A, what does Rukmani mean when she says that she does not want to be an ornament wife? That might be a little bit of actually finding what she said, so that literal explicit thing in the text, and then making the higher meaning from it, that inferential meaning. Looking at number B, or letter B, how does Nathan deal with the fact that his firstborn is not a son? I'm going to be looking for a reaction there. So that might be a more factual observation of the text. And you're going to see as you go through these questions, they kind of go back and forth or blend between the two. When I'm looking for a fact, an observation I can make from the text to help my reading, and then from that fact or that thing that happened, what's the bigger meaning I can make, that bigger inferential meaning. So really be balancing the two is going to be very, very helpful as you go through this. And then I do want to talk about question 4 really quick. This is giving some students confusion. Bye, Cody. Giving some students some confusion. It asks you to draw conclusions and show the connection of your conclusions to the theme of the work. First and foremost, what it's really asking you to do is, based on what's happening, what's going on in the plot, what themes are you getting from that? can you kind of develop a theme based on what's happening, what the experiences are? What is the book saying about perseverance? What is the book saying about education? What's the book saying about gender roles? Looking for some of those themes to draw a conclusion. In short, this is a horrible question. You may skip it. Any student that does attempt the question, though, can earn extra credit. So really dig in and challenge yourselves. But we're going to talk more about drawing conclusions and coming back to theme in class this week. The rest of the worksheet should really be a good guide for you, some good thinking practice as you complete it. Again, number 4 is a very poorly worded question. I don't expect you to complete it, but I do expect you to try it, right? Give it a shot, earn some extra credit there. When that's completed, double check that you had it saved to your computer first before you filled in all your answers, and then of course you can come back to Blackboard and turn it in Unit 4. Again, the reading this week that's due is chapters 1 through 12, so make sure that you're up to that point for Monday. Check our calendar for what's coming up next week, and let me know what questions you have as you're reading. Have a wonderful